This video is going to be on finding the surface area of all prisms and pyramids. So really, that's the surface area of anything that we would consider a polyhedron or polyhedra. Okay, so that just means you're going to have no curves in any of these figures. So it's all straight lines. Okay? Now, all of your faces, so we're finding the area of each face. So those are really like all the sides. Remember, for our last test, we talked about what faces are. So those are all the flat sides. All of those faces, really, you only have two options. They're either going to be triangles or they're going to be rectangles. So for all of our areas, you're either going to use 1/2 base times height if it's a triangle, or you're going to use length times width if it's a rectangle. So we're just going to be looking at all of those different figures, and then we're going to add them all up at the end. So my first figure here is a rectangular prism. So I can see all of my sides, all of my faces are flat faces, okay? And there's 6 of them. So there's going to be 6 sides. 6 sides, and they're all rectangles. So I just have to think about what those 6 rectangles are, and then I can find the area of all of them. So if I think about the front and the back and the back are going to be the same size. So I'll try to outline them here in purple so you can see them. So here's the front. And then here's the back. Now I know it's 3-dimensional, so sometimes it's kind of hard to see. But the front and the back are both going to be 6 by 10. So length times width, 6 across the bottom here, 10 along the side, because all these sides are going to be 10. So that gives me 60. Now I'm going to multiply that by 2 because the front and the back. So that total is going to be 120. Now the next two I'll look at will be the left and right. So again, I'll outline them in green. There's my left side, and here's my right side. So if I look at those 2 rectangles, I can see the length is going to be 4 by 10. Okay, so 4 times 10 gives me 40. And again, I'm going to multiply that by 2. 1 for the front, 1 for the back. And that gives me 80. And now finally, the last pair of sides is going to be the top and the bottom. So again, if I outline these in red, there's the bottom, and here's the top. And again, those are going to be rectangles, so length times width will just be 6 times 4, which is 24. And again, times 2 because there's 2 of them, the top and the bottom. So now I found all 6 sides, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So my total, I'm just going to add up all 3. So I would have 120 plus 80 plus 48. And that gives me a total of 248. Now it is area, so we're going to make this centimeters squared. So I just added up the area of all 6. And that's going to give me my total surface area. So before, when you were doing this, we were thinking about the nets. We were thinking about unfolding all of this and finding the area of each rectangle separately and then adding them up. If you're good with unfolding that, if in your mind you can think about what it looks like when it's unfolded, you can do that. But sometimes it's easier to think of it as a whole figure and just figure out what all the sides are. So that's how you do a rectangular prism. Now the next one we're going to look at is a triangular prism. So again, think about what this looks like in 3 dimensions. This one might be a little bit tougher, but this one has 5 faces. So those 5 faces, I have 2 triangles. That would be the front here and the back here. And then I have 3 rectangles. So I have 1 rectangle on the bottom there, 1 rectangle over here on the left side, and then this slanted rectangle here along the slanted side of the triangle, that's my 3 rectangles. So this time we have to find 5 areas. So the first areas I'm going to find are the front and the back, which are my triangles, because the front and the back are the same. So again, I'm going to outline them here in color so you can see what I'm talking about. The front triangle and the back triangle. So those are going to be 1/2 base times height. So my base is 8 and my height is 15. And so that area is going to be 60. Now again, I'm going to multiply that by 2. Because I have 2 of them. I have a front and a back. Now the next one we look at, I'm going to do the bottom. Now there's only 1 bottom. There's nothing that's going to match that. Like in the last one, they all came in pairs. But in this one, this is the only side that's going to have these dimensions. So at the end, I'm not going to multiply by 2. I can just see that that's a rectangle, and that's going to be 8 times 20. Which is 160. And that's it. We're not going to multiply by 2 because there's not 2 of them. The next side I'll think about is the left side. So that's over here. And that one's kind of hard to see because it's skinny, but if you think about the left side, this is going to be 15 here, and then across the bottom here, that's 20. Because that goes with this one, so those 2 are 20. So this is going to be 15 by 20, which is 300. And then my last side is going to be that slanted side. This one that goes down the slanted edges of my triangle. So that side is again a rectangle, and it's going to be 17 by 20 for a total of 340. Now all 3 of those sides we didn't multiply by 2 because there's not 2 of them. There's only 1 on each side. So my total area is going to be all 5 of those added up. So 120, which takes care of both of my triangles, plus 160, plus 300, plus 340, gives me my total, which is 920 square centimeters. And again, our units are squared because it's area. We're finding all areas. Okay? I'm actually going to end this video here because we've done the 2 prisms. In the next video, I'm going to do the 2 pyramids. I'll do a square pyramid and a rectangular pyramid. Okay, so if you have any questions on this prisms, how to find the areas, you can either rewatch this video or you can ask me to clarify.